Being a Kalamazoo person, I love this library and all the incredible activities that they're always a part of. And it seems to be expanding when lots of services and other libraries aren't really, they're not really doing that well.
Well, I looked up into heaven, I thought I'd solve life's mysteries. I observed the constellations for a clue to my destiny. But the rhyme of life confounds me, things will be as things will be. I'll just dance the shores of Jordan till the angels carry me. Gonna let my feet go dancing to my very favorite songs, 'cause I know my time for leaving is bound to come before too long. And there ain't no...
Well, being a guy that was coming through high school in the 1950s, and I just was attracted to the more earthy Americana music. The Everly Brothers, and obviously Elvis came out of the country, and then when the folk movement came into to be popular music, folk music was popular. I kind of got into it then when I was in college in late 50s and early 60s. But just generally, I think the music then with Peter, Paul, and Mary, and the pop kinds of folk groups. But I paid more attention to people like Woody Guthrie and the Weavers, the people who came from they were the real salt of the earth. And that's what got me back to the roots music. I'm holding one of the early Gibson guitars from the early 1900s, and this is called the Grand Concert Style O, and it's kind of a strange shape to most people. It really was the first production model that ever had the cutaway. So anybody who's familiar with Les Paul guitars that were making their strong presence in the 1950s, Les Paul was not the first person to put a cutaway, or it goes back to the early 1900s. So this guitar is from about 1909 or 1910. And like I say, it's called a Style O. It's just an interesting, an interesting guitar with this curly cue. It's called a scroll, which is an addition to a lot of the mandolins that are made all around the world right now. What I'm kind of emphasizing for this program, Rick Bragg, the great writings of Rick Bragg, well, he references a lot his growing up poor, and the struggles that his parents went through, and even more the struggles of his grandparents, because they went through that period of the Depression, the stock market crash of '29 and through the 30s. So all these guitars are made here by the Gibson Company over the years from 1910 right up to, my newest one's in 1965, how's that? But there's a certain section of these guitars right in here, these four were made during the Depression. So these four from the KG11, the Kalamazoo guitar, this L00 that my daughter plays, and this Recording King was made by Gibson for Montgomery Ward. So it was sold through the Montgomery Ward's catalogs, and that's how some of these guitars got out and around the country, just the fact that they were in catalogs. And so these were more reasonably priced, all the way down to this L30 right here. Beautiful instruments that came out of the Depression era, and they were still made with quality, and yet they were cheaper and more accessible to the average person who didn't have so much money.
You say you're sorry once again, dear. You want me to take you back once more. You say need a helping hand, dear. Well, that's what you told me once before. Walk soft. peace and quiet love. Walk softly on